All right, y'all, back to war. Boy, Jerome Powell just sucker punched these markets and driving everything lower. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about in tonight's video. We have new structure setting up right now on the hourly time frame, some big breakouts lower on the lower time frame tick charts, and I have a ton of trades I'm tracking for tomorrow. And as always in these videos, I want to make sure we cover my favorite trades, the entries, the exits. I want to make sure you guys have a roadmap to make some money tomorrow as well. So charts are ready. Enough of the intro. Let's dive right in. It's been a great week so far. Let's keep the good times rolling. Charts look pretty good right now. S&P SPY is ready to go tonight. NASDAQ triple Qs are all ready. I have 4 important clues on the charts in front of me that are telling me where I think the winning trades are waiting for tomorrow. One of the most important clues is right here on the hourly chart. 24 hours ago, I said we're very bullish on the hourly S&P SPY, bullish on the NASDAQ triple Qs, and you can see what's happening right now. It looks like we have a new structure forming here on the hourly time frame. Lower highs, higher lows. It seems like we're starting to flesh out one big range up here. Bullish move up. It definitely feels like, and this makes sense, right? We got big earnings coming out next few weeks. So it looks like a brand new structure now developing here on the hourly time frame. Now remember, I like to use the hourly chart as an overall bigger picture, right? A directional filter, if you will. So this is one very important clue for tomorrow. It's not the most important clue though. We got more important clues coming up later on in the video. Second clue here tomorrow though is over on the schedule. We get some small news for tomorrow. There's 3 things on my mind for tomorrow. One, of course, is that Philly Fed number tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time. But really the most important news for tomorrow, though, is that TSMC. We all have heard TSMC before. They're a big player in the semiconductor supply chain. They'll report earnings tomorrow before the open. That is a very big potential market catalyst. So we do want to be aware of that tomorrow between 6:30 and 7:30 Eastern time tomorrow morning. So that is a known unknown and a big market catalyst for tomorrow. We'll talk about how that may play into this game plan. We'll cover that a bit later on in this video. It's also important, remember too, tomorrow's the last day of the week. We have Friday off. It's Easter weekend, Holy Weekend coming up this weekend. There's no trading. I know, crazy, right? Markets are completely closed on Friday. And so markets will close up on Thursday night and they won't reopen until Sunday. So we'll have nothing to talk about tomorrow night. So no newsletter video tomorrow night. So seems wild, right? But last video for the newsletter here for the week this week. So no video tomorrow night because again, there's no trading on Friday. So TSMC tomorrow. But you know, our biggest thing tomorrow is, what will trade talks be like? Japan came to the White House today, negotiating with Trump at the White House right now. Got a bunch of negotiations lined up. So you know everyone is listening to the White House news events right now as far as trade negotiations. So we'll keep that in mind for tomorrow. Back to our charts though. We know the money is made on the charts. We've got a couple clues left over so far. A lot of clues though for tomorrow are over on the tick charts. The hourly time frame's great for the bigger picture stuff, but I don't like time charts. I love to use tick charts because tick charts, they make pattern recognition so much easier. Upper left-hand corner, in case you're watching for the first time right now, that is a 7,000 tick chart here. And by the way, that is the 21 EMA. It's pretty much the only indicator we use to find winning trades in our trade room. There are a couple really, really big clues. 3 big clues here on these tick charts right now. One big clue, and it is a big clue, is a strong move down. Now, why is a strong move down a big clue? Because anytime we see a strong move in one direction, all of that momentum is going to pull back to retest that low and bounce off that low. Anytime we see a big, strong move down, a pullback off that low and a bounce on the retest. That's one important clue here on the tick charts. Arguably, even more important clue right now is that range that we spent most of the day. What do ranges do? Ranges love to break out pullback. You have to think now, this also applies to the NASDAQ, of course. You have to think now the underbelly of that range is certainly going to be a key area for resistance. That is a big clue on my mind for tomorrow. But hold on, back up the truck. Then we have this range right here. This range right here just gave the buyers a great opportunity for tomorrow because what do ranges do? Ranges love to rotate. When into that range, we chop around, that makes the range, and now we're rotating off of that low. What do ranges do? They love to rotate the amount below, the amount above. We call these pendulum swings in our trade room. This gives the buyers a lot of opportunity to run this thing higher. So there's a lot of important clues here on the charts. Knowing all of this, we got that big range developing right now on the hourly time frame. That strong move down, that breakout pullback right there, right? And that range right here. One of my favorite trades here for tomorrow is I would love to get this thing to go up, finish off that pendulum swing off that low, get up into that breakout pullback zone. I would love to look for 2 trades short off this area. One is a bull trap. Let those buyers come in, try once, try twice. If I can get those buyers trying twice, I'd love to use their stops to fuel that move going lower. Now, where's the market want to go? It wants to go back down to retest that low. So, second trade on this is as it rolls lower, if I start seeing stuff like this where it separates off the moving average, like over there, right? Look at that move right there. Strong run down, separation, lower low. You know why everybody wanted that short right there. That setup right there, I would love to get that right in there, right? So separation of the moving average, lower low in price. I want this before we take out that low, obviously, right? Take out that low. It's a bull trap and an add-on. Now, once we get down to that low, once we revisit that low now think about this. We got that big move down. Once those bears get short up here, where am I taking my profit target off on this? Back at that low. So sellers up here become buyers down here. This is not a great place to sell. So it's a great place for, you guessed it, a bear trap. Now, bear traps are very similar to bull traps. Let it pull back. I'm not going to pick a bottom on this, right? We're not going to blindly buy this stuff. And I'm not going to waste your time talking about divergent signals or reading tape and blah, 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 right? It's always easier to run stops. Let bears try once, let them try twice, and squeeze those stops running higher. Because what happens is when you're stopped out of a short trade like that, you buy your way out. Now, these are pretty easy because now we know where the market wants to go. It wants to go back up and take out that high. So now, as it makes that rotation higher, think about now how we can add to our winner. Separation off the moving average, so important. It pulls back to that moving average, it barely misses it. Separation equals strength. Higher high in price, get right underneath that low. And again, I want to be in on this add-on, double bottom bear trap. We call these retest trades in our trade room. Bear trap and an add-on back up to retest the high. Now, one variation of this, we may not get that bear trap down there. A lot of times we'll go up, we'll get that short, we'll run back down again, but we won't get that bear trap here. It'll just boing off that low because everyone takes their profit targets there. So if it really bounces hard off that low and it starts grinding off of that low, I'm going to draw a trend line off the highs. I'm going to bring that trend line down around that low. Now, look left, find some prior swings, and I want to get in underneath that low. The most important thing though is on these V bottom reversals like this, I don't get the bear trap down there. I want to get the first buy. The first test is the best test off of that channel. Makes sense, okay? So again, it'll be a bull trap, it'll be a retest, and a variation of this, right? If I can't get the bear trap down there, look for that V bottom, find that channel, and don't miss that first test is the best test. Now, here's a question for you. What if I'm wrong? We have that big range on the hourly time frame. What if I'm wrong about this? What if earnings come out tomorrow really well and this thing just blasts and run higher? How would I know? How would I know when to buy that? I want to talk about that variation in case I'm wrong on this. We'll cover that in a moment. Before we do that though, let's slow down for a second because I know most folks watching right now, you guys know these patterns already. But if you're watching this for the first time right now, this could be a brand new strategy for you. Don't you worry though, I teach this entire system. All the entries, the exits, market structure, finding ranges. Guys, I teach the entire roadmap in my free trading classes. In fact, I have a ton of examples, bear traps, bull traps, add-on trades, range rotations. I'll put a link up top here for you, upper right-hand corner. Hit that link that popped up there and take that free trading course, because the strategy I teach in that short video series will teach you a very simple trick we use in our members trade room that literally tells us exactly where the winning trades are going to be each day. More importantly though, I want to teach you my 4 favorite entry setups so you can time better entries, make a lot more money. Guys, the markets, they are way too good right now not to be making consistent profits. So if you're still missing the best entries each day, if you've lost your confidence in your indicators or your current strategy, again, hit that link that popped up there. Watch that short free trading class. Everyone loves all the trade examples I include. I have a ton of trading examples in that free video course, right? Best part is it's 100% free for you. So also to keep in mind too, I'm going to put all the important links you need to learn all this stuff. I want to help you guys time better entries and make more money with this stuff. I'll put all the important links down below the video in the description. Start first with the free video course. People love that. Most folks start making money all on their own with that free video class. So start there first. And also, by the way, too, if you're on X or the form of Twitter, if you're on Twitter X, I post a ton of charts and videos and updates in between these YouTube videos. So if you're on Twitter X, give me a follow. Again, all the details you'll need to learn more, learn the roadmap, hopefully earn a lot more in the process. I'll put those down below the video tonight, down in the description. That's where you want to go if you're brand new here watching this video, because I do look at things a bit differently than I think a lot of other YouTubers there. Okay, so where did we leave off? Okay, I talked about earlier, I would love to get that up, that bull trap, back down, and bam, right by that retest. I love, you know me, right? I love retest trades. If you're with us in our trade room or you watch every evening, you know how much I love retest trades. Love that, right? Love that. But here's a question though. What if we pop up? Because again, let's not forget about the 60-minute time frame. We could easily find ourselves fleshing out now one big range here. And let's face it, Jerome Powell, he kind of kicked the market lower today, but I mean, I read his transcript. He didn't say anything that was surprising to me, right? He basically repeated the exact same thing they've been saying for weeks now, right? They're going to wait to see what tariffs do and blah, 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 expect inflation. Let's put it this way. I have a very hard time trusting the experts on much these days after we saw what happened with COVID, right? So pardon me, J-POW, right? We'll see how inflation does a few months from now, because there's just as much data suggesting that we may not get as much inflation as these experts are calling for. Anyways, off my soapbox throw. Let's get back to our chart though. What if we pop up here? At what point would I know it's time to start buying up there? It's the moving average, right? If you watch these videos, you know, if we rotate higher here and we start seeing some separation, remember, separation equals strength. This is how you know when the buyers take this thing back, right? Buyer to get back. Again, good chance we go down, bounce back up again. Same thing, right? Same thing. But if we bounce back up and start separating, once we start separating, and when I say separating, what I mean is that as it goes higher here, all the pullbacks are not going to pull back much below that 21 EMA, okay? This is why I recommend only using one indicator. If you have too many indicators on here, it's too many voices in your head. Okay, so we pop up. We now are separating off that moving average. Now, what do you do in this case? Well, remind me again. What happens after a range breakout? That range, like I said, that range, it gives the buyers a ton of opportunity. We're not quite there yet, but it really sets the stage now for the buyers to do some damage tomorrow. Combine that with the hourly time frame. So now, think about this. Now, a breakout pullback comes to mind. There are 2 ways I like to trade a breakout pullback. The classical one is a 2-legged pullback, right? So 1, 2, think about a measured move, right? 1 leg. Usually get below the moving average, 1 leg, 2 leg. My favorite breakout pullbacks are a bit more than a measured move. We talk about measured moves in that free trading course I mentioned earlier, right? So make sure you grab that, link in the description. Bottom line though is I'd love to get a 2-legged pullback here. Use what was resistance now as an area of support. And remember, I don't like indicators for this. I'd rather wait for the bears once, twice, let them try twice there, squeeze those stops, easy bear trap. You'll learn that technique in that free video class. We'll have examples of that in the free video course. And again, as we go higher here, I'm looking for that separation off the moving average and adding on from there. It's pretty easy, I think, in this example, that gap up there, is begging to get filled right now. It wasn't filled today. It wasn't filled on that bounce when China said they were willing to negotiate on tariffs there. So it's still left out open there, but I would definitely look at that for a target going higher. Another one of my favorite breakout pullback trades, if we pop up, for example, and start grinding going higher, if it grinds higher, what happens is we can now look for a channel. Draw a trend line off the highs, bring it down off that low. You see that's what I'm doing right now? Now, again, I'd love to combine that high with that channel. That'd be great. Oftentimes, though, all we get is, remember, on these pop and grind moves like this, you want to go find those swings, right? Find those little prior swings right there and find one of those prior swings that lines up right around the low of that channel. You know, there's not much guarantee anything in trading, but when you see markets like this, they pop up, they grind like that, they separate off the moving average. These are about as close to a guaranteed winner as I know about in trading, especially after a strong rotation off that low, that big range, that big structure we see developing right now on the hourly time frame, right? Makes sense? Okay. Now remember, it could be a bear trap below prior swings. We love to get below that 21 EMA. Bears try once, bears try twice. I like to use 2 tries to squeeze those stops running higher. And again, we got targets up top here, leave a runner for the gap out there. All right. One more variation of this though, I want to talk about, and we'll grab the NASDAQ, because on the NASDAQ, I want to talk about, we have TSMC tomorrow. So what if TSMC, there's a lot of rumors right now that we kind of hit the peak build out, right? A lot of rumors were from Microsoft a few months ago. They canceled some data center leases, right? A lot of rumors right now. We saw ASML today report disappointing earnings. A lot of rumors right now. We might have hit the peak build out, right? For all those data centers, right? So there's some question. What if TSMC tomorrow morning really disappoints and we really rip running lower? I want to show you later on in the video, I want to show you how a measured move down here, a simple measured move technique could be a really easy way to make some profit around those TSMC earnings tomorrow. We're going to cover that in just a second here on the NASDAQ. But first though, let's face it, this is a range right here. Ranges love to rotate back and forth. I mentioned earlier, I would love to go back to that low, bear trap in, and bam, right? And get that double bottom, that retest trade from there. What if we don't get that? What if we don't get that? A lot of times what happens is we see these things start pulling back like this, and all we get is underneath. We kind of go halfway, right? We don't go all the way to that low. Can I buy right there? Can I buy that? I can, but what's the problem though? The problem is we still have unfinished business, right? That strong move down still wants to retest. And in all reality, I can be careful right there, right? Because it may keep on nudging me lower. So there's one entry pattern we look for when I'm buying a little bit early or premature. And this one, right, it'd be called crown reversal pattern. Very simple. I want to see 2 tries, 1 and 2, but my focus will be, if all I get is like a halfway move down, my focus now is I have to buy. I still want 2 tries. I still want higher highs, but I now want to get in below those lows. All right. It may be a bit more aggressive too. It may run halfway lower. It may miss that low and pop back up hard like this. And you watch. Everyone will pile in right below those lows. All right. So if for some reason we miss that retest of that low, and the reason why that would happen would be because of that range, right? Oftentimes that range will it'll make it more difficult because again, ranges act like magnets. So think about that slight variation there, and I want to buy as low as I possibly can. All right. I like the way this game plan is coming together. Let's now go one more step further here on the NASDAQ. We're going to test your skills on the NASDAQ right now. I know you guys know this stuff already, but we're going to grab the NASDAQ here and kick this up a few more notches. And again, on the NASDAQ higher time frame, that big strong run up, lower high, it feels like right now this will soon be one big range here. It's just kind of a gut feeling right now. I've seen a lot of these charts over almost 20 years doing this. It feels like a range here. I think worst case scenario right now, I don't see us right now, unless things change, I don't see us going back to retest that low unless something changes, which could happen. I mean, hey, right? We're now beginning negotiation processes with other countries and corporations right now. So that could easily happen. It could change here. But the worst case scenario, I would think that range and that pendulum swing. That would probably be kind of the worst case scenario for right now until I see something new. And that also applies to the S&P too, right? You'll see it on the S&P chart from earlier on. So again, think about this big range here developing right now on the NASDAQ. Now, before I talk about the NASDAQ tick charts, if you're enjoying this video right now, do me a favor, please help me grow this channel by hitting that like button for me and make sure you subscribe. I know we're all busy people these days. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching my stuff. So thank you guys so much for the likes, the shares, all the subscribes, all the ongoing support, all the support in the comment section. I appreciate every one of you tuning in. Now, I promise I'm done begging for likes. Let's now get our hands dirty here on some tick charts here. Over on the tick charts right now, it's the exact same thing, right? Strong run down. The bears want to retest. Range up overhead, breakout, pull back, begging to get sold back down again. And this trading range, that trading range, it flips the entire thing on its head, right? Because now the amount below the range, the amount above the range, right? It's going to want to rotate back and forth like that. And again, when you combine this with the higher time frame hourly chart, it leaves the door wide open for a slingshot reversal. We talked about this last night on last night's video. And of course, that gap up there, it's looking pretty lonely, isn't it? It's looking lonely up there. Okay, so all the same stuff I talked about on the S&P can be applied directly right now to the NASDAQ. It's the exact same stuff. I mentioned earlier, though, I want to show you a measured move technique, because one thing we teach in our video classes is whenever we have a trading range, the breakout leg can be used as a measuring leg. Okay, the breakout leg can be used as a measuring leg. So I want you to think about something like this. And again, this would be a scenario where TSMC comes out tomorrow. We get this, horrible news, whatever the case is, right? I don't know, right? I don't have a crystal ball. I just want to make sure I'm ready for these if-then scenarios. So I have a game plan to make some money, whatever we get tomorrow. Okay, if we see a strong run down, what will almost always happen is this pattern right here. It'll be a shallow pullback, a lower low in price. Everyone will pile in on the bull trap off that high, and this will create our measured move. All right. I don't know where it'll be just yet, but this is the formula. All right. It happens over and over and over again. So first, again, breakout leg, measuring leg. Okay. Breakout leg, measuring leg. Now, obviously, maybe not obviously. I can sell right here, but that's an aggressive trade, right? For someone like me, it'd be a half size trade, right? Or quarter size position, right? Very small position because you're selling relatively low. But if you like wooden roller coasters and you like looking over the edge of the Grand Canyon, right? That's probably your type of trade right there. Now you know where it is, okay? Now, breakout leg, measuring leg. One of my favorite trades are always those measured moves. After a big move like that, there's going to be a lot of profit taking down here. I would love to find that measured move. And remember, I'm not going to pick the bottom on this. I would love to go out bears once, bears twice, and squeeze that sucker back up potentially for one big range rotation going higher. Again, think about that hourly time frame, right? That big range developing right now on the hourly time frame. So I like that. Again, there's aggressive entries on the bull trap. That's a bull trap we teach in the free trading class. I like the idea though, find that measured move. And when all the rookies are getting to their desks tomorrow morning, right, after the TSMC, and they're chasing after it. I made this mistake so many times when I was a new trader, but all the time, right? People come in, they chase after it, they see this big news event, they don't realize, right? They're all the way down here now. Horrible spot to be a seller. I'd love to squeeze those stops and run that sucker back up again. And number two, oftentimes it just bam, right? It just whoop and runs right back up again. If it just pops off that low and starts grinding, going higher, you know what that means now, right? When it grinds and separates off that moving average, when the pullbacks separate, that tells you we've flipped our momentum now off the high, off the low. It's a race now for first test is the best test off of that low. And do not be surprised either. Do not be surprised either. We run up, buyers get trapped, we slam back down. Remember, what I'll do on this one is I'll always go in bears once, bears twice. I always take a 1-to-1, and you'll learn this in that free video course, right? A 1-to-1. Get that stop the point of entry quickly. Get some profit in the trade. Get rid of risk in the trade. It's a freebie now. We then run back down to retest that low, and sometimes every once in a while we'll end up using that big leg down as a measured leg right there. That's somewhat rare, but that's the idea, right? The breakout leg, measured leg. And again, you know me. Well, if you don't know me, know this. I love retest trades. We go back, we retest that low. Anybody who sells short up here, where's their profit targets? Back to retest that low. Again, measured move target down here. That's what I said earlier, right? Measured moves down here are really a great technique for buying into that big move lower. The key is how you find them. 1 try, 2 try, right? Squeeze those stops and back up from there. All right, guys? So all the same stuff we talked about on the S&P can be applied directly now to the NASDAQ. Love the measured move trade. Love the retest trade. Love that because of the bigger picture on the hourly time frame. Now you know. That's the game plan for tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, by the way, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Guys, the best place to be every morning is with me every morning in the trade room. I'm going to put all the important links you'll need to learn the strategy, time better entries, make a lot more consistent profits, and join us in our trade room each morning. Guys, the easiest way to start making money in these markets is to do it with me every morning at the opening bell. If you love these videos, you're going to love my morning trade room with the members here at schooloftrade.com. So all the links again below the video. Hope you guys learned a lot tonight. Hope you use this knowledge to make a lot tomorrow. In the meantime, be well, be nice to each other out there, and you better be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye for now.